What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer. So I did a series of videos not that long ago. I think it was like last week, maybe a couple of weeks ago, where I took some of my favorite decks and I took them against meta, competitive, and everything else. So I'm going to continue that series with the Invoked Winged Dragon of Ra today. Also, Dogmatika and the Shaddoll package in there. And we'll start with Sword Soul. This is coming out pretty soon, I'm pretty sure. He opens up pretty crazy, so I've made a few changes to the deck, actually. I'll do an updated deck profile. This deck is unironically good, so everybody knows that, Dogmatika and everyone, Invoked and Shaddoll, they're all, like, very good, like, on their own, but I'm actually starting to think that the Winged Dragon of Ra is actually, like, good. It's actually a really tight, it's like, what, 5 cards? I think 5 cards in the entire deck, and it's so threatening. It's like legitimately threatening. I took out the Neos package, or I should say I sided in now. But take a look at this. So it's basically just proctoring out everything and then finishing the game. Like your opponent just like has no idea that the Winged Dragon of Ra is coming. And if they do, then like they have to really play their entire hand around it. They have to play so aggressive with their negates to try to prevent you from having all these monsters on the field. So normally it's like, oh, you have a pretty decent setup. Now you broke his board, but it's like, nope. Like this is just the end of the game. Like there you go. I don't even need to use Dogmatika punishment. So that was pretty cool. Here's Tri Brigade, and this guy opens up crazy in Tri. I'm pretty sure. He has the Obedience School, so he's going to get 3, I think it's, 3 monsters from the deck. He's going to be able to trigger the kit and everything. I didn't fire off Lancia in the standby phase because I wanted to wait for him to get an extra deck monster on the field. So, yeah, his Tri-Brigade stuff is, it's done. Can't use it anymore. He's 2 Nibirus, and it's actually not going to be enough. So at this point, he knew I was using the Winged Dragon of Ra. So it's like he's thinking about it, right? He's like, I got to stop this guy from getting 3 monsters on the field. And I have Guardian Slime, so I'm going to be able to trigger, from the deck, basically, using my Performance Trick Clown. And you can also, of course, order it in a way to where you can make sure that it goes through and leave your last effect, that you don't want on there. And here we go. So obviously the Guardian Slime is going to trigger. So he's like, okay, I got to hit him with Nibiru now. But actually, he's just given me a token. Unfortunately, I don't get a huge attack boost from the token. It is the original attack, and the original attack of all tokens are 0. But here we go. I mean, I still have Invocation that I haven't even used just quite yet. So basically, if he had anything else in his hand, like I would be able to cover it through there, but I don't even need it this time. There we go. Ancient Chant's going to come down. I'm going to have definitely more than enough attack to, finish for game. Still have the Ecclesia to use. So he put it in defense position thinking, oh, the only monster he's going to be able to summon is the Winged Dragon of Ra, protecting myself. But actually, now he's just put this in defense position. And it wouldn't have mattered either way because I would have gotten over it first and then attacked directly for the other ones. So there we go. Here's Bee Troopers, and I still have like Plunder and stuff like that too. So and Dino, all that good stuff. So let's see what Bee Troopers able to do. And that's the thing. Like I was thinking, when you see a deck like this, it's like, oh, it's just kind of like you're forcing Winged Dragon of Ra in there, but there is like an insane amount of synergy. So Bee Troopers, unfortunately for him, they have a burn effect, and I have Guardian Slime. And this card is just so awkward for people. So it's like, boom, I've immediately put pressure on the board. I have a free 3,000 attack monster, and then now my plays are starting. And that looming threat of the Winged Dragon of Ra is there. Like, he had to go into Ash Blossom, or the game was going to end. And there we go. Alright, so that means that the rest of my plays are now just pretty much good to go. Alright, I can use Invocation, can go there. And there we go. So it's like, okay, yeah, I didn't end the game with the Winged Dragon of Ra, but now I have the Dogmatika punishment, and I have basically, not an Omni Negate, but essentially an Omni Negate, considering you have to set, trap cards before you can play them. Alright, so I'm going to negate his play starter, and I still have the punishment if I really needed it, but yeah, that's the end of the duel right there. That's it. Plus, going second is can be pretty shocking for your opponent. I side cards in, like, evenly match, which really just your opponent does not play around evenly match because they're thinking, okay, you're driving for game, right? So there's no way you're going to play a card like that. So they leave themselves open, and it's just one of the best side tech options. Like, I don't really like to use evenly match all that much anymore, but in this deck, I feel like it's perfect. Alright, so I'm pretty sure he has like a much better board this time. He's going to have the Infinite Impermanence. I'm pretty sure he's going to have the trap card at some point, the Monster Negate. which normally would be good, but yeah, I got this down, and I've got this deck size down to 40. I'm really happy. You know, I went down on my Aleister. I think I have it at 2. I went down on my Ecclesia. That's at a 2 as well. Just because you're able to find them so often. Like, I run 3 Magical Meltdown, you know, 3 of the Nadir Servant, like all that stuff. All right, so he has the Contact C. That's fine. I can just link summon, go into like the Rainbow Neos. Like I said, I can slide that in. And there we go. So I can probably just shuffle all of these back. I'm sure that's what I'm going to do. That way I'm getting rid of all of his resources. They can't go into the graveyard. The top deck of the Infinite Impermanence, you know, doesn't really help him all that much. I'm going to be able to attack over this. I'm sure in the main phase 2, I'm going to try to shuffle all of this back, and that would be the Ancient Chant, because I don't really have any plays for it right now. And now I can go into something like, Macabre, so I have a Monster Negate. He does too, but he doesn't have any B-Trooper, he doesn't have any B-Trooper monsters. He tries to Kaiju over this, but yeah, I mean, obviously, this is way more than enough for lethal. I think I really just kind of do this for style. I'm pretty sure that was enough points anyways, and that's just, that's game. All right, so let's keep going here. I'll skip over Dino for now. We'll try to go like as meta as we can, but that's more the competitive. So I try to like go down in a scale. Yeah. So I would say Rainbow Neos is like one of the best side cards that you can have against them, because they just love flooding their back row, with their Chuches, and obviously you can protect your Rainbow's Neos at least one time with it to make sure your effect goes off. There's 9 hand traps in the deck, or, power cards, whatever you want to call them, like Lightning Storm. I'm going to go ahead and set the Falco. All right, he's going to pop my Ecclesia. That's fine, I suppose. I probably should have, well, never mind. I was going to say I probably should have searched the trap, and there we go. I was going to, initially try to pop this card and send, what's it called? The one that pops a card. But then now that I know he has two Chuches, it kind of makes things a little difficult for me. We'll see what I can top deck here. Shaddoll Dragon is actually not good at all. If he draws any names, I'm really screwed. He really fires off this God by the Grave like as soon as possible, which I guess he's trying to protect himself, like his back row. Ugh. There we go. And Aleister, I may go into the fire just to get over this Geomath Mech Final Sigma. He doesn't, like, his Chuches are not online right now. I didn't draw into too many names. He drew into a bunch of these, which is definitely helpful for me, but it's only a matter of time before he does, right? And there we go. All right, so the Shen obviously is going to banish a couple cards. He's going to pop the field spell. Okay, and then the GG is going to come down. Still doesn't have enough names, luckily for me. Like, that's, whew, that's pretty close. All right, I can, keep using the Aleister, the Invoker loop, and now I can go into the Rainbow's Neos. And, he can't use anything. I will, I shuffled back his graveyard, mostly because I knew I had 1 protection, so I didn't want him to be able to go into too many of his loops. He's going to negate the effect of Rainbow's Neos, but that actually doesn't really do anything. I'm going to protect it, and so I just need this to last 1 turn, which of course I'm going to let that happen. And now I can, focus on shuffling back his graveyard, or his entire spell and trap zone. That way he cannot use the Chuche. I only run 1 of the invocations, so yeah, that's why I had to go in this route. But now I can use the effect of Aleister, or I should say Invoker, to kind of shuffle it back into the deck, which is really nice. All right, there we go. So then now I can normal summon the Aleister, and yeah, so it was kind of like a 500 IQ play for me there. He did top deck the effect failure, but that's okay. I had enough for lethal anyway, so I was able to just really kind of go for the game there. All right, so that was pretty darn good. Let's go into Plunder Patrol. I know that's pretty popular right now. It opened up pretty well, 3 hand traps plus 2 plunders. You got to be excited about that, I'm pretty sure, if you're a Plunder player. And this is like a really good duel to show off the Winged Dragon of Ra. Obviously, this opening is pretty ideal. All of these cards just plus you, so that's never a bad thing, of course. Magical Meltdown, that's the cool thing, because now my Shaddoll Fusion cannot be negated at all. And I think this one just banishes face-up spells and traps, which doesn't really do anything. And now I have that all-important monster negate online. I'd actually thought this would 100% go through, because I thought you couldn't negate fusion cards, but maybe it's different. I don't know. Anyways, so Alright, I forced out his infinite impermanence, so basically, like, everything he, all of his, like, traps now are done, so he can't use the effects anymore, and then now I can just kind of push for game right here. So I've just kind of worked through everything that he had. I'm going to, gain that attack. It's going to be a massive, like, basically 14,000 attack monster, and that's game. Let's go to Phantom Knights. He had a horrible opening, so I basically got really lucky. It's really not the best matchup. I'd probably side in like Kaijus. That might be your best bet. He ashes the Meltdown, but yeah, luckily I drew the Aleister, so it didn't matter anyways. I would almost always ash the Aleister instead of Magical Meltdown, but I don't know. It's always a chance thing anyways. So I actually did not need the Titan Clad, but I guess it was kind of bait, and the bait worked for the most part. But I don't think he's going to draw in anything. I was basically just eating his negation. That's what this deck does so well. Like they're going to be forced to use it all just to survive for the turn, or they better get something good, but you usually have negates after that anyways. Alright, so we can go into like dinos now, I guess. Although I think some of this is like the Rufia stuff. So it's not like the best dino in the world. But maybe like competitive, whatever you want to call. Here's a Misk. And there we go. Like I'm not running a lot of hand traps, like I said, or like not hand traps that I use during your opponent's turn. I don't want to play into Cross-Out Designator. It's not what I'm looking to do, especially if you're like a base going second deck, or based on based. Not like that. Alright, so this is a pretty good board here. Called by the Grave, a Gravedigger's Trap Hole, a Dolka, and an Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Let's see what I can end up doing here. Alright, the Meltdown can come down, so obviously that cannot be negated. I'm going to, negate the Dolka, which is going to make sure that he cannot use those card effects. The Called by the Grave obviously is going to be destroyed. He could have, negated it, but it would have been, it's the same thing. It's a 1-for-1 type of card. And there goes the Augustus, or Goides, whatever you want to call it. I actually probably I should have gone for Ancient Chain. Maybe I didn't realize, like, my situation there. But anyways, I'm still fine. So he's going to try to go for the Pankratops. I'm going to immediately proctor that out. I can now destroy the Dolka, destroy the back row. And yeah, super luckily for me, App Cologne is a, like, forever negate. Like, it negates that face-up card while it's on the field. So I was able to kind of make that work. Alright, now I can probably activate Ancient Chant. I could have done this before, but okay. So that was like a technically full dino board, or, just about, I would say. I was able to just work right through it, which is super duper nice. Here's another dino. And after this, I might just like go through everything else. I'll have to take a look at the list, but yeah. Wow, Parallel Exceed. I'm not really sure. Oh, I think he's probably running like Trap Trick stuff, but yeah. That was it. That was it for his plays, because I had a Lancia, which is very nice. He's going to go ahead and ash the Aleister. I'm going to go into my Shaddoll Winda. I'm going to draw a card. I'm going to special summon this back and just see what I can get off the top. It's a Meltdown, so definitely setting myself up for next turn, but I feel pretty confident against dinos. Like, they do a lot of special summoning, right? So I'm going to force him into the battle phase, basically, which is what you want to do against dinos, because your plays afterwards are so powerful in this deck anyways. Alright, there goes the Monster Reborn. I'm sure he's going to go into a Dolka after making some sort of play at his hand. He doesn't have a non-dinosaur, so he cannot special summon this Ultimate Conductor, which is very good for me. And he has an extra deck monster, so that is pretty much, that's that's going to be pretty rough for you. I was just trying to proctor out the Pankratops, and of course I did. Now I can use Performance Trick Clown, which is going to trigger the Guardian Slime. And yeah, I made sure to proctor out that one last, just so I can make sure I use the effect. And there we go. I can search out Ancient Chant, and I'm going to grab the Winged Dragon of Ra to my hand, banish it. It's going to be a real big Winged Dragon of Ra, up to like 14,000, and that was it. Like, he literally didn't have a choice in where he uses Disruption, and it still wasn't enough. Okay, so that was pretty much everything in terms of like competitive or meta, if you want to go that far. And let's take a look at everything else. Predaplants. So I guess we're going straight to casual. Here's one of the hand traps. I guess I don't really use this too much anymore. Oh, this is a great duel. Why did I show this? He just completely bricked. Maybe I get to use the Winged Dragon of Brawn. It's cool. I don't know. Alright, there goes the Winda. This is going to get special summoned. I think that's it. Yeah. Wow, this is high quality gameplay here. This was actually must see, of course. You guys can't see why that is. Okay, so I'm pretty sure, yeah, nothing's going to happen there. The Falco is going to come down to bring back the dragon. Cobra, okay. He can't actually super poly because he already special summoned for the turn, but he can use it now if he wants to. I'm going to return that target to the hand. The Ecclesia can come down, so I'm locked out of the extra deck. And okay, so he goes for the Shaddoll Construct. All right, why not? I still can't special summon a lot. I got the Dragon of Punishment, so I guess this game kind of went on longer than I thought it would. Okay, so I'll probably go for the App Cologne. That way I can get the Shaddoll Schism. Shout out to this card getting a reprint. And a top deck of Shaddoll Fusion was good, but I did use the Punishment the turn before. And this is like a standstill right here because this has to use its effect to destroy the card when it attacks. So yeah, which is pretty interesting. Okay, so the permanent Drytron can come down. I was trying to, I don't know. Let's go into Verde Anaconda and go into Rainbow's Neos. This kind of just fixes everything. I'll probably shuffle, the Construct back. That way he can't, get his Shaddoll Fusion or whatever he has in his graveyard. I can't believe how long this duel is going on. I just showed you some of the best gameplay videos against meta, and here I am. I can't beat Predaplants. Sick. All right, I'm gonna shuffle that back so he can't. I don't want him to use. Well, I don't know. He has it, but yeah, no polymerization for you, obviously. I guess he can't use it now. It's pretty interesting. Okay, so he goes into the Starving Venom. I think I can protect it, the Rainbow's Neos, at least once. So as long as I can get a monster and I can just normal summon this Ghost Spell if I really have to, but I don't. There we go. And I can just attack for game. There we go. That's why you clicked on this video to see that duel, I'm sure. Alright, here's a Cyber deck. And yeah, so this is, I actually would really like to make this deck IRL. Now that the cards are a little more affordable, like the deck was like, I don't know, probably like $300 before. Now it's closer to $200. It's like, it's just more affordable. And the Shaddoll stuff is obviously like super affordable anyways. But yeah, I think this this deck can compete with anybody. The only matchup that I would say is like really bad is Drytron. Like I have no idea. Basically, you got to side in Kaijus and hope you draw you're called by the grave. Like that's really the only advice I kind of got. Unfortunately. Hopefully that card gets baptized on the ban list. that's my big advice. All right, so yeah, I guess he just quite literally didn't have anything, and I had the Shaddoll Rock too, which is pretty cool. He already special summoned for the turn, so he couldn't even use the Kaiju, so you hate to see that. All right, he's got the Eternal Cyber there, so a lot of fusion cards. We'll see if he's able to go into it. And of course, when you're playing, like this deck can go first or second, prefers to go second, so anytime you're playing a deck that has to go second and you force them to go first, like you got to feel pretty good about the matchup. These decks never expect, the deck that they're playing to want to do what I'm doing for the most part. I think this is like one negate, so we'll see where he ends up using it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and chuck that in defense position. He's going to negate there. All right. I'm going to throw that in defense position. Hopefully I can, flip it up and draw a couple cards, which is exactly what happens. That's kind of why I made that play. And there, what do you know? Off the top, a Magical Meltdown and Shaddoll Fusion. And I think that's the thing with this deck, though, like in general, is that every card is good. So, like when you're playing a deck of only good cards, your top deck's going to be good like 90% of the time. All right, there goes the Shaddoll Construct. I'm going to destroy one of his back rows. That ends up being Eternal Cyber. He couldn't even use the card, unfortunately. So it's kind of like a waste technically, but yeah. All right, there goes the Ruck. I can probably go into an App Cologne. That is a dark monster. And I'll just negate that face-up card, sure. Yeah, he goes to negate the Aleister, but unfortunately I don't. Yeah, that's just not going to be enough for sure. I'm going to shuffle his entire graveyard back. And yeah, that was definitely enough for lethal. That might have been a little bit of overkill on my part. A negate attack, so yeah, we're really going through it now. He does have something like Ice Dragon's Prison, which also got a reprint in the Megaton. Shout out. Super, super cool. He's going to go ahead and just straight up, activate this, but that's okay. I really don't mind. I will, Summon Limit's fine with me, because I'm going to go ahead and destroy that Eternal Soul and blow up his board. So, like, I'm going to take control. I can get rid of this when I want to, because I have Dogmatika Punishment, so I can send the Elder Entity Nis when I want to, which is what I'm going to do. And he's already like hurting himself with the summon limit there. Alright, so, the invocation, I can use this. And now I'll probably go into the Elder Entity Nis, destroy his other back row. Like, again, I'm chilling where I'm at right now. Alright, top deck's a circle, which is pretty good, but yeah, there's nothing really he can do about it now. I don't think I can actually use invocation just quite yet. Mostly because I use a Dogmatika Punishment. Oops. But now, the Ruck is online. I can go ahead and send a couple of these bad boys, really setting myself up for the Winged Dragon of Ra next turn, which is pretty cool. And I'll probably, end up flipping this face up the Shaddoll Beast, if I even have to. Let's draw a couple cards and see if I can get anything interesting. Interesting enough, I guess, to end the game there. So he goes to negate the effect, but I still have like that initial attack boost from, this Ancient Chant. Kind of flying out there, but yeah, he did not get anything, luckily for me, off the top deck. I got a great top deck in the Blaze Cannon in case anything ever went wrong, but it didn't. So normally if this got negated, like it's duel over, right? Because you only have those initial points, but I have that now. It has that baseline, so it's pretty cool. Deep Sea Diva, let's go. All right, I get to go first because he's like, oh, this is a going second deck. You're done for, buddy. Well, yeah, no, this deck can definitely go first if you force it to. I'm going to have that negate, monster or spell negate. And, yeah, I'll probably end up going into something like, wow, I'm going to have a Dogmatika Punishment. I'm going to have the Ruck. Yeah, so that's the punishment you get for making this deck go first, of course. And I'm going to go ahead and fire this off now. That way you can't special summon. This is a combo-based deck. The Red Eyes Insight is going to grab Red Eyes Fusion, but yeah, well, he can't use that card now. And even if he did, I did have the negate with the Macabre because I had the Harpy's Feather in my hand, which is neat. Despia, I know there's a lot of hype around that card. Okay. There's the Stigmatica, or Branded Opening. I don't know what any of these cards are going to be called. It looks like he's playing Sword Soul Despia. I don't know how any of that works, but he wasn't able to use it this turn. Infinite Impermanence, though, but look at all of these really good cards in my hand. Harpy's Feather Duster is going to get rid of all of that. This is a monster negate, so I'm going to have to find a time to use it. I'll just go ahead and go for the App Cologne. And just like that, boom. I've gone right through it. And I'll probably have enough for lethal here pretty soon. There goes the Aleister. He's going to go ahead and special summon this Iris Swords, basically ensuring that that is the card that I will end up attacking for game. Ancient Chant's going to get banished. I'm going to add the Aleister back to my hand. And they're even just icing on top. I have the Elder Entity Nis. And boom. This is going to be a really big Winged Dragon of Ra. And I already had the answer, for with Macabre, to make sure I had that lethal, basically. And he left this, in attack position, which is a vital mistake. Although I guess I kind of attacked anyways and attacked directly. So it was just kind of like a checkmate type of situation for sure. Here's Frogs. Why not? Here they have the Bureau. They have the Solemn Strike. So they got a pretty crazy opening, to be honest with you. He's going to flip that down. So we'll see if I can get anything good off the top like a Lightning Storm. Guess I don't. In my mind, I'm thinking, like, I'm pretty clear to go. Like, let's go. No, the Solemn Strike comes down to kind of bring me back to reality a little bit. But I have that defense with Guardian Slime if he ever does decide to go for anything. This is just like a trap dot deck. Kind of showing really what this deck can do, to be honest with you. The Lost Wind there. All right. So I'm going to go into the Fusion here. I'm going to try to grab the Blaze Cannon, which is really, really good. I'm pretty sure this is... yeah, if you just waited one more second, right? Yeah, that would have been the end. But yeah, so now I can't use this effect. So as long as I can get, 3 monsters on the field, I'm still good to go because I threw this in the graveyard, and I do. Like, you're just able to special summon this deck so well. It just works with the Winged Dragon of Ra. And even if he had something, I didn't go into Nibiru at all, but even if that was like my 5th summon, boom, I just slapped down Blaze Cannon, and that's it. It's unaffected. All right, here's Hero. I'm almost done, but there were a lot of them, and this is like the most in-depth G's I'll ever get with a deck, but it's my favorite, so I feel like I know it more than anything else, and hopefully these kind of replays help you just to see the power level. A couple of everything. Luckily, a couple of every good card here. And he ends up with a pretty decent end board. I think it's the hero monster that negates all face-up monsters on the field, which is normally a super powerful floodgate. But when you have cards, like Disciple of the Nadir, it becomes a lot easier. He has the Dark Calling too. We'll see. All right, there we go. So there it is. The Plasma's on the board. Top deck of Ghost Spell is super good for the Dark Calling, so that ends up working out in my favor. I go into the window, which is a good thing for me, mostly because I'm going to be able to get this Plasma off the field pretty quick here. I'm going to pop that card and set myself up for some pretty good plays next with the Dogmatika Punishment. He's going to pop it, so that's pretty unfortunate. I probably should have telegraphed that after the battle phase a little bit better, but that's okay. He's going to try to go for the, the Dark Calling. I'm going to go ahead and negate that. He's going to go for the battle phase. He's going to try to pop this window, but yeah, it is obviously unaffected by card effects. Or it cannot be destroyed by card effects, excuse me. I saw him add the Honest Neo, so I'm going to go ahead and force him to use it. That way I can have the Shaddoll Fusion back to my hand. For those really powerful, backup plays, I'm going to, pop this Shaddoll Dragon up top, flip that back to the extra deck. And I can go back through my Aleister plays. Use Invocation, just in case he has any monster negates that he needs to use. And there we go. Shaddoll Fusion can come down. I can go into a Construct, send some good stuff into the graveyard. And yeah, now I have another Disciple of the Nadir. I can grab a Shaddoll Ruck. Although, honestly, I probably should have... it wasn't even all that necessary. Like, considering he's playing heroes, I probably should have had, Spell Negate on there. But that's okay. It ended up working out in my favor anyways. That was a misplay for sure. Alright, so we went over PK Plunder. Here's Trains. There's just 3 more duels left. Trains is pretty good, actually. It's kind of like a rogue tier deck. And he draws everything that he needs. He constantly goes through that draw too. He even thinks I think he even gets an Ancient Gearbox to his hand, which is just a crazy plus every single turn. Kaiju in my opening is going to be pretty decent. It's a good card against Trains for the most part. Because most of the time they end on that XYZ that makes it unaffected. And it's like a big 4,000 unaffected monster, which definitely makes things pretty difficult. But not when you have a giant Kaiju. Okay, and the rest of my hand looks pretty good for the most part. At the very least, this is a Construct because it's a light and a dark. But he's going to go into the extra deck, so it's not like it's a big issue for me anyways. All right, he's got a couple Ashes, and he's got a Forbidden Chalice, so I got some things to work through here. We'll see how I end up, picking this apart a little bit. We'll start with the Kaiju, go for the Meltdown, normal summon there. He's going to Ash. All right, that makes things a little difficult, but I got the Shaddoll Fusion. Construct, I'm going to pop one of his back row. I guess it'll be that Urgent Schedule. I'm kind of lucky that he set that, to be honest with you. It would have been nice to have a Slime in my hand, but it didn't. All right, he's going to bring back the Bullet Train. That's okay. Doesn't really do much to me. And now I can go into a Predaplant Burning Anaconda. So there we go. I've eaten through his last piece of Negate. And yeah, he put that in defense position. I don't know if he was forced to. But luckily, now I'm kind of... There we go. We're on an even playing field for the most part, in my opinion. But I know Trains have like really powerful follow-up plays. So he goes for the Din Gear Suit. He doesn't send. Okay. But I think he actually should have, because he's going to have a hard time getting around this Construct. This Link 1 is so good. Link 1's and just in general for any archetype are so cherry. I wish like Blue Eyes would get it. I did that Blue Eyes video, and whew, man, that deck, I'll be honest, it still kind of stinks. I'm going to bring back this Shaddoll Dragon. Yeah, so he's going to have to protect this. I'm going to flip this up next turn, so something on his field is getting back to his hand. And it's probably going to be an extra deck monster. He's going to draw a couple cards. He's got another Ash in his hand. He's going to go for the Zeus, but man, that was actually pretty good for me. It's going to give me my Shaddoll Fusion back. Probably go into an Apkallone. He does have the Ash, which was pretty unfortunate. I think he activates Ash more than he has in his deck. All right, but I did have a light monster in my graveyard, so I'm going to have that monster negate, for this Machina Fortress, which is pretty cool. And now I have this Shaddoll Ruck, so I'm starting to take control here for sure. And I had the Neos Fusion as a follow-up for next turn, so that's going to be pretty exciting for sure. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and negate that. I have a extra deck negate, which is pretty cool with the floor the fleur-de-lis going on next here. There goes the Shaddoll Ruck. And I'm just going to try to prevent him from special summoning as much as possible. I'm going to force him into the battle phase, right? And if he uses first special summon for the turn. I'm going to pop this, go into the Elder Entity Nis. I'm going to pop his other Thunder there. Cannot special summon any more times, meaning that he is like wide open here. I'm going to prevent him from drawing a bunch of cards. I have, that's it. That's going to be game right there. That was enough, which was really cool to be able to just like be in that game. I didn't think I would have a chance, honestly, when I was playing it. Here's this trap deck. All right, but yeah, when you're like a going second deck and you're just like, you have cards like Lightning Storm, it's it's just money. I'm pretty sure I just go straight for a game here with Ancient Chan. I have so many good cards. There we go. I can, yeah, I'm already anticipating. I know this is it's game time here, and this is going to be a really big Winged Dragon of Ra, of course. I could style and make that even more, so whatever this was plus 1,000, but I would say 15,000 attack is probably enough. That's like basically double your life points, which is pretty neat. All right, and last, Utopia. A couple of Forbidden Droplets and the red reboot. All right. He sends one of them back. I don't use, well, yes, I do use trap cards, but it's such a, no one part of the deck is important, which is like what makes it so hard to play against. I didn't really have any like great plays, but okay. The Evenly Matched. Whew. Although, like I was gonna say like, oh wow, Evenly Matched is so bad, but no, if you give me a chance to like make it through my battle phase, you're not going to make it through the battle phase basically. And just whatever this is, it's not gonna do anything. No battle traps for you. That's 11,000 attack, and yeah, that's it. So you guys saw how many times the Winged Dragon of Ra was used in this duel. It's not a gimmick. It is definitely an engine. Let me know what you guys think about this deck in the comment section down below. Other than that, that's going to do it for today's video, and I'll see you guys next time.